That's gold. Solid gold.
Yeah, that's a thing. Hey everybody, it's PTOM Theater for the week of whatever week this is, and we have the entire PTOM staff again.
Hello.
Woo! That was Ryan Taljnik. We also have Editor-in-Chief Roger Burchill.
Hello.
And, of course, Super Intern Ann Lewis.
What's up?
Yay, it's everybody. I'm Scott Butterworth, and we're here this week to talk to you about our personal favorite games from 2011. The official PTOM Game of the Year Awards feature will be in our February issue, which hits newsstands next week. Subscribers might already have it. So if you want to find out what PTOM collectively agreed on as the Game of the Year, you're going to have to pick up that issue. But this is going to be our just personal favorites. You know, for whatever reason, these are the games that stuck with us from last year. We're going to talk to you a little bit about them.
How about we start with, let's start with Ann.
We're going to start with Ann.
Well, thanks, guys.
Ann.
My favorite was El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, which is apparently a game that a lot of people have forgotten about, which makes me so sad.
Well, in order to forget about it, they had to have known about it in the first place.
That was the game where you wore designer jeans, right? Like,
yeah, you wear designer jeans, and that's pretty much all the game is. But no, it's
designer jeans from heaven.
Sent from heaven, given to you by Lucifer.
I give unto you.
So what was the purpose of El Shaddai? What was the point of the game? What did you do in it?
Well, describing that story would take a lot more time than I have.
Right.
Yeah, well, then why did you love it?
I loved it because I don't think I've ever, other than Okami, played a game that was quite as beautiful as El Shaddai. There was nothing about that game that wasn't absolutely gorgeous. The music, the character design, the environments, everything about it was so pretty. The pants.
Especially the pants.
Especially the pants.
I own a pair of those pants.
No, you don't. Those are expensive pants.
Well, having pants. Cool. How about you, Scott?
Or we're going to me next?
Yep.
So, despite the fact that I only gave it a 9, which I stand by, I think my favorite game from last year was actually Portal 2. For a number of reasons. One, just because it's hilarious. I mean, it's easily one of the most, if not the single best written game from last year.
Yeah.
The script and the voice acting is brilliant. It's super fun just to play through and hear all the commentary from GLaDOS and Wheatley. That alone makes the experience worthwhile. But obviously the portal mechanics as well are just as solid as they were in the first game. They're just an ingenious mechanic that's it is really enduring. It's a really classic setup for a game. It's so simple and so brilliant. And the puzzles were just as creative this time as they were before, especially in co-op.
Yeah,
co-op was probably the most impressive.
Yeah, that was really good.
I mean, not only was it a very natural growth for the franchise, it also gave the developers an opportunity to think about puzzles in a new way, and it's clear that they had a lot of fun with it and came up with arguably some of the best puzzles we've seen in the entire series.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Oh yeah. Great. Great's a word for it. It's a great word. Roger Burchill, what was your favorite game?
Well, I actually got a list of 3 games here.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're breaking the mold.
3 favorite games.
Yeah, I'm breaking the mold. But a couple of the games are sort of like pretty obvious. One is Killzone 3, which I would say is my favorite shooter of the past year. And but that's pretty predictable. The other one was NBA 2K12, which I sort of give a shout out because it's the first time in a long while that I've really been back into a sports game.
Yeah.
And I think the last time I played a sports game was on my Sega Genesis.
Yeah, well, that was when I was hardcore back then. But this is the first time in a long while where I sat back and said, "Wow, this is really well done." And so I have to give recognition.
Yeah, you just
to
spent
2K
most of the time
for that.
reading Ryan's work. What was the third game?
Ouch.
But the third game is actually I don't even remember what I scored it. Really, it probably didn't score all that well. But it's Yakuza 4, and it's because I love the Yakuza series so much, and I really want to sort of like remind people that it's out there.
Sure.
And I love that series because it has such crazy, absurd, enthralling Japanese storyline writing. And
I don't think I've ever played any of the Yakuza games.
yeah, well, you have to do a lot of reading because they don't, it's not dubbed in English, so it has the original Japanese dialogue, but you have to read all the text, and so that turns a lot of people off. But
It's too much work.
But it's
we do
really
hate reading.
yeah, but it's sort of open world with a storyline that runs over it, and it has a little girl that gets kidnapped about 15 times every installment of the game. So
Jeez.
So
it's
it's
wild,
24.
wacky, and
Yeah.
yet
Nothing
still
says good times
cool.
like kidnapping.
Yakuza gangster action. So. So, I want to encourage people to at least try that out, because I'd like to see more Yakuza games come over, and maybe if there's enough success, maybe they'll actually do a real U.S. version of it, and it might broaden its appeal. Even
So you're not a
further.
fan of kidnapping simulators in general, just Yakuza specifically?
No, I just, I think it's a realistic simulation of having a child. It's like, they just get into these situations, and then you're left to, like, do something about it. So I relate to it as a parent.
We should just watch her better, I think.
Yeah.
Ryan Tautenick.
So mine's gonna be Dark Souls, because I know I gave it an 8, but it's still one of those games that's just really stuck with me. And the level design was mostly awesome, except kind of toward the end it started tapering off. But more than anything, the boss fights in that game were incredible. And I think more than any other single player game, Dark Souls, the reason that it kind of really spoke to me is that it kind of captures the essence of what I like about MMOs, which is like these really crazy, complicated boss fights that you have to learn every little detail about to be able to successfully beat them. So for me, it was like the closest single player experience to that, and it was just a lot of fun. Everything about it was, despite its difficulty, it was still pretty intriguing.
Sure.
And, gripping.
Gripping. Would you call it great?
I
Or
would
just
say
gripping?
it might be great.
Excellent. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are PTOM's personal games of the year. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what your favorite game of the year was in the comments below this video, and leave us, comments, ideas, stuff for next week, and hey, we'll see you then.
Bye.